What's going on, everybody? It is the Functional Gentleman, Roy Gravis and Bucky Pender. We actually have a surprise special guest that just decided to show up. Drove 4 hours from Dallas after Whiskey Riot to come out and hang out with us for a minute. This is Cody with Casey Jones Distillery out of Kentucky. And he brought, as you can see, a hell of a lineup to us.
Yes.
We just got done sampling everything.
Really good lineup.
So, Cody, if you don't mind, just kind of give us that quick elevator pitch and something I'm curious of, and I'd like you to go ahead and talk about it while you're doing it. What's up with the square still?
Yeah, it's a great question. Casey Jones Distillery is one of the three owners of the distillery. Peg Hayes and Arlen Casey Jones actually founded it about 8 years ago. This is grassroots, y'all. I mean, we started from nothing, and we're going to be here for the long run. The distillery's namesake is Casey Jones, obviously. The master distiller, my business partner, Arlen Casey Jones, that was his grandfather. And Casey actually wasn't his real name, it was Alfred.
Okay.
Really interesting
Casey
story.
sounds
there.
cooler, I'm not going to lie.
There's a
I'm
really
not gonna
interesting
lie,
story.
the whole reason I kind of approached y'all on Facebook,
Yeah.
I like the baseball reference.
Yeah.
Casey Jones thing.
We get that a lot. We get the train conductor Casey. We get the Ninja Turtles Casey. That comes up a lot.
Okay, Casey
And,
Jones.
Yeah, because I Googled Casey Jones
Yeah.
and didn't have distillery in there, and that was the first one that pops up, and Roy knows I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan.
Well, and I always tell people we ran the Ancestry.com, and unfortunately, there's no
No connection.
no rats in the background.
Damn.
No turtle rats there. Sorry to hear that. It's awesome. Casey was a savant. He couldn't read or write. He was a coffin builder by trade. So that kind of inspired his design. He was challenged as a younger man to see if he'd actually make a still. He did. He made this really unique square pot still. And the still was actually designed to fit the back of the Model A pickup truck.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it comes apart really easily. You fit the actual still itself, wide arm, and then the condenser. And the whole point was that we could load that thing up in the back of the Model A, drive out somewhere in the woods. You and I could pack one side of that still. You could have the line arm, hold the condenser, and walk off into the woods, make some shine.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the intent behind the shape, actually.
That's pretty cool. So how long have y'all been in business? Legally?
Yeah. Glad you asked.
You gotta throw that whole legally in.
Right.
Legally, we've been in business, started our 8th year last November.
Okay.
Good.
It's our juice. It's all Kentucky distilled, aged here on site. We've got a really interesting story, obviously, with Casey. Actually, like to say he's kind of like the grandfather of moonshine in Western Kentucky.
There you go.
We're operating out in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which is an hour and a half northwest of Nashville.
Okay.
Just right on the state line.
Right.
So I'm curious, so I have a Kentucky roots question.
Yeah.
How far are you guys from Paducah?
I don't make my way out that far.
The only reason I ask, I have family there.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I ask that question.
And who doesn't love to say Paducah?
Yeah, Paducah.
We're
Exactly.
close enough.
Okay.
Close enough.
Next
I
time
like
you go
it.
visit
Yeah,
family,
next
you come
time,
see us.
Okay.
yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely got to stop, make a special trip.
Because the sad thing about it is when we go to Kentucky, we normally stay in Metropolis, Illinois.
Right.
Normally where we stay.
Yeah.
So,
There's a couple Airbnbs there. close to
real close.
I've
saying, man.
looked you up when I'm in town.
Like I said,
I know. Yeah.
you're fresh out of Whiskey Riot in Dallas.
Yeah.
That happened yesterday.
Yeah,
March
great event.
4th. How was that? Was there a good turnout? You have a good time?
Great event. Met a lot of really fantastic people. One of the cool things that happen when you do these trade events is, about 15 minutes before the event actually kicks off, and let the VIPs in, all the trades people. See what's interesting,
Yeah.
what's new.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you this double barrel cut. I think I was down to half a bottle of this before the event actually started out.
That is affectionately
You
known.
start worrying at that point.
That's affectionately known as the college girl now.
Oh,
That's what we're
college
calling
man.
it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We're calling it the college girl.
It's funny.
yeah, it's a great event.
So would you say that was your most popular pour out there?
There was several other distilleries there. Like to think of ourselves a little bit as David. There's a lot of Goliaths there.
Of course.
So everybody's doing their thing and tasting bourbon. So the story behind this is so unique. I mean, your opener is a 100-year-old moonshine recipe,
Yeah.
twice aged in a barrel. It's like people want to try.
So was that Arlen's kind of baby?
Yeah,
Did he
yeah.
kind of come up with this
Yeah,
idea? Because
yeah.
you don't, I was saying it before we started recording, you don't see a whole lot of people doing quote unquote moonshine and then turning around and aging it unless it's more of a bourbon mash bill.
Yeah.
So something you are doing, and I'm pretty sure it's on the website. Your moonshine is 50% corn, 50% cane sugar, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So you don't see a whole lot of that in the industry where they're taking it and aging it in barrels. What was Arlen's thought process there?
Well, it was really to kind of pay homage to his grandfather. I mean, AJ's, I like to call him first and third. Okay, he's the third master distiller out of the Jones line.
Right.
His father actually distilled for a brief stint.
Okay.
There's an interesting story about Robert, his father, on the side of the rye labels actually. But
That's my jam.
first and third distiller, but first legal distiller of the
There
Jones
you go.
line.
Gotcha.
So we just wanted to pay homage to Casey. And you think back during the day, during Prohibition, when Casey was making stills, it's not like there was coopers just up the street, just dropping barrels left and right whenever you had money to pay for it. So if
Yeah.
he ever found himself with a barrel, he would have aged his corn cane mash.
A two-part question. A, are you going to be at Whiskey Riot in Houston, April 14th? And B, what the hell do we got to do to get this here in Southeast Texas?
That's a great two-part question.
Because Houston's about as close, as right now at least, with Whiskey Fests and all this other
And
stuff.
not only that, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are in every Total Wine in the Houston market. correct?
Yeah, we are all over Total Wine.
Okay.
Specs here in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Twins, Seagulls, Liquor King.
Okay.
Tons of just great independent shops. And take a gamble on.
I
us,
wonder
pick
if by
us up.
specs, does that mean we'll get it in Baltimore? That
So-
wheat's good. As a not wheat guy, I like the wheat. I'm not gonna lie.
It quickly,
It's not-
quickly moved up my list.
Yes,
it
it moved.
disappeared.
Yes,
I,
it disappeared.
I don't know what happened.
Nobody knows what happened.
But to finish answering your question, yeah, absolutely, we will be. Bet your ass we're going to be at Whiskey Riot in Houston.
Okay.
Excited to be in the market. Houston is just, my God, it's a beast.
Houston's a big
But I'm
market.
ready, man.
We're all at the Houston Whiskey Social. This last year?
No, and we launched in the state. I want to say Q2 last year.
Oh, okay.
So we're rapidly working to get into I am in the market, trying to build that distribution,
Right.
and get those store points and those on-prem accounts.
There's a lot of good juice coming out of Kentucky. I love the fact that on your website you are extremely transparent.
Super transparent.
You have your mash bills listed. You tell everybody what you're doing. You're a craft distiller. You're making good product. It's your own juice. That's exciting.
Well, and I'll tell you, it's just so many. You take this billion.
I know it.
One of the-
I'm trying to stay. I keep trying to stay on top of it.
Like-
I do it all the time. I have ADHD.
I live for this. I live for this. It's just an absolute passion project, and I absolutely love it. I'll say on the transparency front, I'm actually redoing labels. They're on my laptop. I'm in the truck right now.
Okay.
The stories are cool. They really are. I know people do like them.
Yeah.
Right.
Better served on the website. I'm going to redo these wings. I'm going to put the mash bills on the wings. I'm going to put barrel information on the wings, so you know exactly what was aged in, which of course is our good friends at Kelvin Cooperage. Best barrels in the world.
Yes.
I have a whole story about that. And on the bottom of this, now, nobody steal this. This is a first here.
Do it.
You never heard it anywhere else. I'm going to take a playbook from Hawaii in the mid-90s.
Okay.
I'm going to put tasting notes on it.
Okay.
On your bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
It's not, it's
You
not.
can't get any more transparent
But-
than that.
I mean,
It's
think
not
about-
that deep tasting, it's like the lighter stuff that
Right.
everybody's
Yeah,
gonna
Everybody's
do.
gonna
Yeah.
pick it up on.
I'm not trying to tell you like
You
you're a
need-
sommelier, this is what you'd expect.
Yeah, this
Right.
basically whiskey is extremely subjective.
It is.
There's
It is.
nothing objective about this. There's no fact. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But in broad
But
brushstrokes,
today's whiskey drinker is extremely different than the generation before.
Yes.
We know a lot more than previous generations.
Yeah.
We do our research. I mean, I pride myself on the questions I'm able to ask, the research I do, and the things that I'm able to come up with
I just
on
drink
these
shit.
brands, on the brands, because and transparency for me, because and he knows it. Penelope's one of my favorite.
Oh,
I know
great
it's
folks.
MGP. I know they're sourcing, but they're
I've
extremely
heard about it,
transparent, and they finish in great barrels. They're doing different things. I pulled up y'all's website, was on it for probably 30 minutes, just reading.
Did it myself.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Well,
the
it's very,
photography.
it's very nice.
Nice.
It's
The
very
photography
nice.
too. Fantastic.
I love your website. I love the transparency on it. I love what y'all are. I like the transparency. I like that you're giving people information.
And I love the fact that you're talking about actually putting mash bills and tasting notes on the label, because you don't see that a lot.
Don't see it a lot.
I'll tell you what, so I handle all the outside sales and all the markets we're in. And it's Arizona, California, Wisconsin, New York, New Jersey, Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, Texas, obviously.
Taking over the world.
Oklahoma. I've got one incredible sales guy.
We call it choke home.
I've got one incredible sales guy in Kentucky who's doing a fantastic job. I handle all the other states. I run into a lot of accounts, and I just can't help but thinking, if you're uninitiated, you're not in the bulk, the bourbon culture, and you walk into a whiskey store and you want to get into bourbon culture, where the hell do you start?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
It's impossible.
It's
I was just there.
overwhelming.
I was just there a
It's
couple years ago.
overwhelming. You go into a store that has a lot of products. It's overwhelming.
And it's funny you mentioned that on this thing. Bucky actually is a converted vodka drinker because of this show
Yeah.
and because of our relationship, obviously.
Mad respect to vodka.
It's not.
It's not
It's
this
not.
though. It's not whiskey. Let's be honest.
Vodka's not even gin.
No. Let's be honest.
I love gin. Gin's
But
great.
what kind of to circle back to what you were saying, you're right. I mean, it's what. How do you pick? And because everybody's talking about Buffalo Trace, everybody's talking about Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Crown Royal. Even if you want to go on the Canadian side, those are the ones that are shoved in your face.
So
And something I've always said on my TikToks and on here is, don't look for those brands. Look for the label that you didn't see, you don't see. Try them, because I promise you, somebody like Casey Jones is killing it. Where somebody like Buffalo Trace, as much as I love Buffalo Trace, they're pumping out a product.
Well, yeah, they're just kind of. I mean, not
This
to
is a
say
label
this
of
term,
brand.
but it's like the big boys are kind of. They know they're big. They're going to try and quote unquote half-ass.
This is why we drink whiskey.
Yes.
well, and I will never denigrate. And I said this to you all earlier off camera. It's like, look, I love makers. And I love being Suntory. I love.
And we do. I mean, we
All
have,
the
we have
makers.
friends of ours who being Satori.
I wouldn't
Prime
have to do
example,
what I'm
Tina.
doing.
Exactly.
I wouldn't do
Yeah.
it.
They open the door. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crown
Tina,
Foreman, all of it, even guys down in Tennessee for some reason, the charcoal filters and stuff. You almost had it.
You almost had. You were this close.
Much
You
love.
were
No,
this
seriously,
close.
much love.
I love it.
I'm gonna have a functionally absent response to that.
It's fine. We take no comments.
Playing on the.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like it.
I
see
broke
what
out
you
my
did there.
fancy shirt for
I
this
see
one.
that.
So you get down something that's like really near and dear. Talking about like you're uninitiated, you walk into a store. How do you? It's why I'm putting the tasting notes on here. It's also how we actually approach our brand. I mean, when you look at these labels, it's the biggest word on bourbon.
Yeah, to me, you guys are keeping it. And we talk about acronym all the time. KISS, keep
Yeah.
it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
That's where y'all are at with this label.
That's the plan.
I
That's
mean,
the plan.
you keep it as simple as possible.
And I mean, we're trying to be, our barrel cut's a little bit different deal because
Well,
it's unique
of
to us.
course, yeah.
The bourbon and the rye, we're trying to be very accommodating. And what I like to try to paraphrase this. We talked about this a little bit off camera.
Right.
You can be a non-producing distillery, you can produce a distillery, one of the two. We've got a bunch of capital. There's ways to approach the world. We don't. This is grassroots. I'm camping out in my Forerunner for 3 weeks, try to keep lodging costs
There you
down
go.
so that I can make payroll.
You see his rig?
Yes.
That's a nice rig. That's what I told him. Dude, got a
I
truck.
saw
I'm
it pulling out.
Hey.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Like that's a nice, because I literally saw it and you don't see it a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's a snorkeled out
Uh-huh.
Forerunner, and I'm like, that's got to be Cody. And my wife, literally, we're sitting in the house watching through the bay window. Are you sure? And I'm like, he started backing up, and I saw a Tennessee plate, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah, it's him.
No, it's the hustle's real, man. It's it's like actually in partnership agreement, Peggy and AJ, we have in our partnership agreement, WIT. Y'all can still, this is a good one. WIT stands for whatever it is.
I like it.
You know, I want to invite people. We're building this brand the same way that the old dogs did. This is legitimate juice. Work our way in the market. We're gonna be authentic and transparent. And we're gonna be a working man's spirit. Like, I'm operating on razor thin margins on this to distributors, but I need to. I want to.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be 2 paychecks a month.
Yeah.
No.
Like, that's not the game, man. I don't believe in that model. I mean, you should see our white label, our entry level bourbon, great mash bill, sweet, easy to drink up front, great summer bourbon, $39.99 on the shelf. All day.
Nice.
For a craft distillery, that's
For that,
nice.
yeah.
You know, I think that's the right approach. You know, if I can grow the volume, I can make it work. I believe that I can.
Right.
This is some fly by night. There's a major distillery that you can get me Belgian from, but you can sign a label on it.
Yes.
It doesn't change the flavor, no matter how many labels you put on
Yes.
it. Yeah.
We get it.
That's a real nice bottle you got
That's
there,
a
boy.
nice
Yes.
bottle, babe.
So it's a whole thing, yeah.
No, but and just kind of on that same, I like how whenever we were tasting your rye, you're like, it's 95.5, but not them.
Yeah.
no. It's 95.5, but not that one.
Not that one.
Well, I mean, it's a fair assumption because if you
It
go
is.
into a store and you put a bottle,
The first time you hear 95.5,
You
everybody's first
automatically-
thought
yes.
is squib.
there's two things that you look for. It's like either it says distilled in some state,
Yep.
it's not,
It
Kentucky,
did.
or it doesn't say where it's distilled.
Right.
in.
Right.
And the assumption is in either case, you know where it came
Right.
from.
Yep.
I'm just for what's not. There's some great stuff out there.
There is.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason there.
And again,
as long
much
as they-
love.
Right.
Like,
And like we've said too, there's nothing wrong with sourcing your
no,
juice to start
no.
if you need
Yeah,
capital.
and there's really good brands who've done a great job of it, transitioning into their own beats.
Yes.
Hope the authenticity is there, the tact is there, the credibility is there, because it's a different dance.
I appreciate you driving 4 hours.
No, and the
down to
second
little
thing
old
is,
Silsbee,
I
Texas.
literally tried. I told him, I said, dude, I can't eat that way. He's like, no, I can't.
No,
I said,
I'm
I
not
don't
putting you
want. I don't
out,
want to put
man.
you out. I don't want to put you out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you insist.
Yeah.
Glad we all made time for
Yeah.
this.
Yes,
It's been
for
fun.
sure.
I'm glad I got to try it. I'm super excited for y'all to slowly but surely make your way out to well, Southeast Texas.
I feel that. I feel they'll be out there pretty relatively soon. I mean, there's
I know it's
talks
something-
we had. So
I like to always recommend
Yeah.
recommend everybody get out to Houston Whiskey Riot. Meet, are you going to be out there?
I am. I'm gonna be there. Yeah.
So if you're out at Houston Whiskey Riot, find Cody. Good dude, fun to talk
Appreciate
to.
yep.
He'll probably have all of this.
All-
Try
all
all
I'll have 4 things that so they.
Okay.
There's a cost associated with bringing bottles in. So
Of course.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
bring
drink your own profits, right?
my double barrel, my 96.3,
Okay.
my 80.16,
Okay.
and of course
You got
Can we-
it.
the bell of the ball.
Right.
Bell of the Law.
A 4-grain wheat.
Four
So this is
grain
gonna
wheat.
be my lineup of whiskey.
That's the line.
Search them out if you're out at Houston Whiskey Riot.
Yes.
Casey Jones, they're making great stuff. Cody's a great guy.
Yep.
This has been awesome. Thank you again.
Appreciate
Yes.
you, man. Thank you.
Let's get the hell out of here.
I got nothing but time.